later. So if you don't get through the whole skill builder of what we're doing today, you can come back to it later. All right, so I'm doing File, New, and then for the name of the project, this is practice. So we're calling Builder 1. The default for you is probably px, which is pixels. So you can change that to inches. Your default will probably not be 8.5 by 11. So you want to go down underneath where it says print, or underneath create, click print, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom where it says letter. You did just do this. Virtually, there's a couple kids who needed me to repeat it. So you're just playing with the shape tool for a few minutes while I do this. Oops, and then you're checking that it's 300 DPI, which it should be, and doing great. Did you get this now? Are we good? Do we have a little white piece of paper? Our artboard? All right. Okay, so first thing we're going to play with are shapes and text. So if you're in the middle of like playing with some shape tools, I'm going to have you pause for a moment and just watch what I have up here. So I'm going to share a couple of features about this. All right, left side, or this is our toolbar right here. So this is all of the different tools that we can use. On the top, this is our menu bar, and then underneath the menu bar is our options bar. So whenever we click on a different tool, our options bar is going to change, and we're going to have different options that we can use. Okay, so when we click on the shape tool, you can see it just pulled it up. There's a little like white triangle in the corner. Whenever you see that, that just means that there's more options within there, and I think most of it has that. So if I click and hold, I can see I can do a rectangle, an ellipse, a line, different types of shapes. Okay, we're all going to start with just a rectangle because I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with that. When I click on this, you can see it has the fill and the stroke. Okay. Fill is what it's going to be on the inside, okay? Stroke is essentially the outline, okay? When I have a white box and a red line, or in this case, X going through it, what does that mean? My face-to-face people or virtual. What is that? My screen, and it has the white box. I'm up towards the top, the white box and the red X going through it. What does that mean? Anybody know? Transparent. Yeah, it's transparent. Like it's not going to apply anything to that. So right now, if I click and drag, I'm going to zoom in. So just a heads up, Control plus, and I'm going to type this in the chat. Control plus is going to be zoom in, and Control minus is zoom out. You'll use those a lot. That's a 1, not a minus. Close. Maybe. There we go. Zoom out. So I just zoomed in, and I did that by Control and then plus. Oops. It's the wrong thing. Okay, and then I can just get closer to whatever I'm working on, basically. All right, so when I go to make my shape, we're going to just make a rectangle here. I made my shape, and when I did that, and if I click again, it's going to make a new shape. So that's why if I'm going to work with this shape at all, on the Move tool, which is the tool in the upper left corner. So it's a white arrow, okay? You can see when I hover over the Move tool, it's going to tell me what that tool is. It's also going to give me a parentheses with a letter. That's your keyboard shortcut. So if I'm like let's say I'm on the rectangle tool like I am now, and all of a sudden I want to get to that Move tool, Yes, I can physically go and move my mouse to that move tool, or I can just press the letter V on my keyboard and you can see it automatically. Oops, I have a touch screen. It automatically moves it to that move tool. And then I can go and I can move this around versus if I'm on my rectangle, it's just going to keep making more rectangles or not do what I want. Okay? So I want to manipulate this shape. I want to do more with it. So I'm going to click the V on my keyboard. Go ahead and do that, or click on the move tool, whichever one. Then I'm going to click on my shape. I'm going to zoom in, Control plus. And then I think I can change my color here. Okay, so I lied. This works a little bit different. We're going to pull up. Okay, so to be able to actually change this, we need to see our layers menu. Okay, so you're going to go up to the top where it says window. You're going to go down to where it says layers. Okay, I'll redo the square in a second. You're going to go down to, so window, pull up the layers with me. Oh man, now I've done it. It's not showing me my layers. So when you go to window layers, are you seeing a little sidebar that shows up? Yes, good for you. Maybe mine's over here. Oh man, I'm running into some technical difficulties. I'm not going to be able to show you a lot if I can't do this. So basically your layers let you click on shape and change it, but I'm not able to see mine. So I'm going to restart my Photo P tab. So my next challenge to you while I do this is see if you can change the color of the rectangle you already have. If you can't, challenge 2 would be create a perfect square with that rectangle tool. I'll show you how to do both of those, but I'm just going to reopen Photo P. There we go. Okay, so I'm back in. I've got my layers. Life is good. Okay, so I'm looking at my virtual kids. So I'm having trouble getting my squares. I will remake one. Someone else says yes, someone else says no, and then someone else says doesn't work for me. Square's not working. I'll do it again. All right, so now maybe your screen looks a little more like this. I'm going to click on the rectangle tool. You can always change all of this stuff beforehand, but I want you to know how to change it afterwards. I'm just going to click down and drag, and that's going to make my shape for me. Yay. Then when I go into my layers, I look at my layers here. Then I can see how I should be able to change the color. Yes. Okay. So those layers are essential. So basically what it's showing you is the background is that that artboard, that white artboard that we made. And then when I made that first shape, it makes it in a new layer. And that's nice because it's separate. There's a little eye right here. So I can take that eye, that's the visibility. So whether I can see that layer or not, I'm going to move the properties. So you can move around, or you should be able to move around some of these tabs or minimize them. I just clicked on the words to minimize. So the visibility is off, so I can't see it. But because I'm clicked on that layer, I can now go in and I can change my color. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I change the color here, and then the points is going to be how thick that border is, that stroke. Okay. I'm going to have you make another one. Did anyone get the square? That was my challenge. Anybody get the square? You press shift. Yes. So for a rectangle and you want it to be freeform, you're just going to click and drag. If you want to make a perfect square, which at some point in your life you just might, you're going to use the rectangle tool right here. You're going to hold shift and you click and drag. And you can see it's always going to keep those proportions exactly the same. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a rectangle and I want you to add a stroke to it and a fill. And then I want you to have a square and I want you to have a different color, different stroke. Okay, and I'm just going to do like a quick check-in. Yes, this is working. No, it's not. Yay. 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 Yes, so you've got lots of rectangles, so you can actually delete out some that you don't need. Do you know how to do that? You click on the actual layer, and then there's a delete. Yep. Delete out anything you don't need. So if you start clicking a lot, I'll show you how to delete layers in a second. Is this working for you? Perfect. Perfect. What you got? What'd you say? I want you to follow along with what you're doing, with what I'm doing, because that way I know that you're getting exactly what I need to know for the project. Okay, so make a square as well, and then add a stroke. Hold shift to get your square, so I'll do that. There you go, and add a stroke to one of those, and change the color. Also, so to change the color, virtual kids, I'm not ignoring you. If you want me to repeat you anything or show anything, you can share or you can chat or whatever works. Okay. Sometimes when we're doing something, whether we're just learning it, and we're creating something with intention, sometimes we do things, we create layers or create shapes that we don't want. So that layers palette over here on the right side, so I'm looking at the layers palette right here, it's going to be your friend for that, okay? So if let's say I make a random shape number 3, I don't need it. I'm going to click on it, and then you can see it's darker, so it's highlighted, and then I can either go to the trash can down here in the way lower right corner and press delete, or I can right click and do delete. I think it's faster to just go to the trash can, but you've got some options with that. Yep, I'll go over how to add the strokes or change the strokes. So I'm going to change it on my rectangle or my square, so you'll see it right here. So I want to make sure I click on that layer. So I change that one. And then up on the top in my options bar, I can see my pink and my red colors. You most likely see this right now because that's the default, which means it's a white box and an X. There's no fill in there. So then when I go here, it's going to bring a color in, use some color options. You should. Okay, so the big box right here, did you all find this? I'm going to go through this for everybody. So if I click here and I choose my color, it gives me a few options, right? But I'm like, I want to choose my own color. I'm the artist, right? So this rectangle right here, which is bigger than your swatches, we call these swatches. If you double click on that, it's going to bring up the color picker. Okay, this is going to be slightly different in Photoshop once we start using that. But with the color picker, you can see I have red. This is my preview of the color right here. And And then these are all of the different hues that I can choose from, okay? So right now, even though I'm technically viewing red, my little color picker right here is in the gray area, okay? You can see this is the color I had, and now this is the color I'm currently seeing. So I can have more of a grayish color, brighter color where it's white, darker color where it's black, or I can have color over here. Or you can click down this way and you can choose exactly which color you want. Let's see, if I shared that my favorite color is like a dark teal, so I could go to teal and then I could go to a really dark version of it. That's kind of it. So boom, I've chosen a color that I want. My border is thicker because right next to the stroke, there's this little slider where the down arrow is. So if I move that slider to the right, it's going to make it bigger. When I move it to the left, it's going to make it smaller. Okay. All right. So if you're still playing with that, go for it. The next one underneath the rectangle is the ellipse. I want you to make just a free form ellipse like an oval, and then I want you to make a perfect circle. Okay. Any other questions while you guys are making those two things?
How do I make a perfect square?
All right, so just a heads up, this keyboard shortcut for the ellipse is the letter U, or any shape is the letter U. So if you click on that, it'll make your shape. All right, so if I'm, once again, I'm clicking and dragging, I can decide what my oval shape looks like. It's taking my defaults of the colors here. How to make a perfect square, I will demo when you make a perfect circle because it's exactly the same, just a different shape. So I want you to do a different fill or no fill. Yep, you press shift, exactly. And then a different stroke, okay? And then choose a color of your choice. To make that perfect circle or perfect square, you're gonna hold down shift on your keyboard, then click and drag. And you can see no matter what size, it's gonna be a perfect circle. The key with that sometimes students struggle with is sometimes they'll go and they'll hold shift and then they'll drag to make their circle and then they'll let go of shift before they let go of the cursor, and then it's not going to be a perfect circle anymore, okay? So just keep holding shift and then let go of your cursor first and then let go of shift after that, okay? I'm just going to do a quick peek that this is working. In the chat, you can type in if you need anything. Lovely, lovely, lovely circle. You're going to go see where it goes on top of the circle tool. Click and hold on. There you go. Got it. Did you find the ellipse tool? So where the rectangle is, hold on that. And then click there. Got it. Waiting in there. That here looks perfect. Kind of all kinds of shapes. You make your circles. So your circle is actually, are you that's a selection. You're going to actually go down, 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 down to your rectangle. Okay, hold on that. Then, yep, it's actually going to make it. We'll talk about selection tools eventually. Yes. Got it. Did you get a perfect circle?
Yes.
Did you look at it? Oh, there it is. It's so cute. Okay. Seems like we're doing okay there. All right. Last thing we're going to do is saving. So we want to be able to save this so we can come back and do something with it again. File formats here. If we save as a JPEG, it's going to take everything we've done, all of our layers, and compress them down, and we can't change them anymore. So we want to make sure we're saving as a Photoshop document. And that way when we come to it, it'll have all of our layers there. I'm pretty sure, and I haven't tried this yet, but I'm pretty sure if you're someone who uses Photoshop, it's going to save it as a PSD, which means when we work on this again Friday, you can actually open it in Photoshop as well. And you can kind of work back and forth between Photoshop and Photopea. That's my theory. I think it works, but I haven't done it for sure. All right, so wherever you are at with this, we're going to save it together. Okay, so to save, we're going to do File. So I'm on the top left. We're going to do Save As. Eventually, we'll get to exporting. We don't want any of these right now. It wants to default as a Photoshop document. That PSD is Photoshop document, which is great. So we're going to click Save as PSD. It's going to download it. Oh, it's going to download it as a Photoshop document. That's fabulous, because then you can use it in either spot. You got to know where you saved it, though, okay? So like on my computer, it's going to go to my downloads. So you need to know where you're going to put it. I highly recommend somewhere on your device that you make a folder on your desktop or in your documents just for this class so that you can eventually upload it to Google, okay? So I'm not 100% sure what this looks like on a Chromebook because I have not used a Chromebook. Does it say, where does it save if you have a Chromebook?
It'll pop up. It'll say show in folder.
Okay, so if it does that, does it allow you to save into your Google Drive automatically?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. So if it does, go to Digital Art and Design, go to Project 1, find that Skill Builder folder, and put it in there, okay? My computer, because I'm not using a Chromebook, it doesn't do that, so I'm going to need to get organized on my desktop and make sure I'm uploading it to Google Drive either when I'm handing in or just periodically. I recommend that you do it every day, every time you save, because if you lose it for some reason on your actual computer, you have a backup on Google Drive. So for me, what that would look like is maybe on my desktop, I'm going to do a right click, I'm going to add a new folder. So I would format it just like my Google Drive, Digital Art and Design. I'm going to open it. I'm going to do new folder, Project 1. So this is what we did on that first day. And then I would do Skill Builder 1. Okay, so this is if you don't have a Chromebook and you can't automatically connect to Google Drive. And then I am going to have to drag it from my downloads into this folder so that I don't lose it, okay? So if you're saving it on your Chromebook, you're good getting it in your Google Drive. Otherwise, make sure you move it to a new folder, because I've seen kids literally lose things in their downloads because they forget they're there, okay? So I'm going to drag it in. And then if you, I would highly recommend that you go to we've got a couple minutes, you go to your Google Drive right now, upload it to Skill Builder 1 so it's backed up and you don't lose it.